Bronx, born, educator, and resident. Here in the South Bronx, we're growing our way into a whole new economy. And that's beautiful. Where there are no jobs and no access, now we're creating it. Most of my kids come to me from foster care, homelessness, many have special needs. But when we started really making money at our farmers market, the first thing our kids did is decide we were going to sponsor orphanages. So as much as my kids receive, they don't really give. I'm proud of them. My first group of kids came back to me on their time to turn the next generation of kids. So when you give kids experiences, you move them into spheres of success that they've never had. And most importantly, when they come here and get the skills that they need, they become employees elsewhere. We're planting seeds, seeds of hope, seeds of opportunity, and seeds of a new economy. Here in the South Bronx, we are harvesting hope and cultivating minds.
Alrighty, so we're here. Hello, Texas! And indulge me, please, for 1 minute. I've always dreamed of doing this. The moon shines bright, the stars are bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you so much. So, here we are where healthy living matters. And yes, I want to help you connect policy to the future, but also to reality. And speaking of reality, the best kept secret in the world, this city of Houston, right? The 4th largest city in America, who knew? Houston, I mean, this is like the 30th largest global economy. You know, who knew? I'm from New York, we love it, but Houston, keep it quiet, it's a good thing. Only my hometown has more Fortune 500 companies, it's remarkable. Now, closer to home, what does it really mean? 13,151 patients per day in one medical center alone, $10 billion of medical cost impact, 40 colleges and universities. What can't you learn in Texas? The youngest mean population in the country, and 11,000 restaurants. My God, my hat goes off to you. Someone served me breakfast today, and I thought like 6 more people were supposed to join the table. But what does that really mean? OMG. And that's why we're here today, because life could, should, and must be better. So in case you haven't figured it out, I am from the city of New York, the only one that has more Fortune 500 companies than you. But I don't have any of them in my neighborhood. I come from the Bronx, and that little slice there, that little yellow place, that's home. The South Bronx, my beautiful place to live. But we have lots of wonderful highlights, and let me show you some of them. 40% of the city's waste, 100% of the Bronx's waste, a sewage treatment plant, a sewage pelletizing plant, 4 electrical power plants, and 60,000 diesel trucks a week. Right in my little home, that's right, my little home. Now, the pictures you see here are all within 5 blocks of my K-12 school, and I work at the 2nd largest charter school in New York City, in the poorest congressional district in America. Oh, throw in 6 strip clubs, 4 jails, and no public library, and it is really no wonder that my kids are, in essence, the canaries in the coal mine. So I'm here to open your eyes today, and I want you thinking about the way we're thinking, because you're all going to commit. Get ready, I'm going to make you commit. You are going to commit today. And I have a question for you. Is the glass half empty or half full? I think I heard the right answer. Half full. No, it's 100% full. 100% full of 2 things my kids and your kids need too: clean air and clean water. So I want you to think about this mindset that I call endless resourcefulness, and whether it's taking old Lego boards or Scrabble pieces and turning them into ties that kids can sell for money in pop-up shops to fund my program. That's the mindset that I go to work with every day. Now, I wear a lot of hats, this one included, thank you. I'm a parent, I'm a resident, I'm a teacher, I'm an administrator. But on my sleeve, I wear this fundamental belief, and I think Jay echoed that last night, that kids should not have to leave their community to live, learn, and earn in a better one. And that's what drives me every day as I tell my kids to practice these random acts of genius. But sadly, as so many of us know, although I'm the tech challenge guy, we're living in an age of nature versus Nintendo, right? And that was 3 years ago, and the head of the NRDC said that. But guess what? No one's even playing Nintendo anymore. Of course, my VCR says 12 o'clock, but what the heck's Hot 360, Men of Duty Hour? I don't even know what it is, but the kids aren't even playing that. That's how fast things are moving. But what am I saying? My kids are getting fatter. My kids are getting sicker. And the emergency room in my community is the primary source of health care. And that's not good for the 1%, nor is it good for the 99% that are following right behind them trying to catch up. To think that proximity to fossil fuel causes learning disabilities, and a recent study told me that 70% of the kids who I see learning disabled would not be simply if their parents had access to good prenatal nutrition. In America? Come on, we can do better. Now, these are the realities of my community. And I think it's fair to say that the cradle of inequality is really the inequality of the cradle. And I'm absolutely determined to see that the two single biggest prognosticators for child success, skin color and zip code where you're born, are changed. Now, probably a separate talk, but whether you believe in design or default, my K-12 school is 4 blocks from this. So this is where my kids go to school every day. And these are our playgrounds and our schoolyards. And this is a great place to be if what? You're a stray bullet, but or a broken bottle. But what's aspirational about that? What's really going to get me out there to move? Not too much. And as jobs continue to leave my community and energy is continuing to be imported, and this is a story across America. No wonder so many of our cities are considered to be deserts. So what's the one constant we know? Well, the one constant we know is change, and constant is change, but no, change is really the new constant. And that's the one thing we need to really embrace. And while people say consume, consume, consume to sustain, and that, consumers are sustainers, if you've spent your way into a recovery, let me know, we can talk later. But really, I say sustainers are the new consumers, people who understand how to grow things forward. And let me share with you, sustainability is the starting point. Because you would ask me, Steve, how's your relationship with your wife? And I said, sustainable? Well, that would kind of suck. I want transformational. I don't want to sustain. I want the multiplier effect. So yes, I'm an educator. Of course, I believe in safe. I want everybody to be safe. Everybody should be safe. But I want equitable. I want transformational. I want aspirational. So Tim, that's the biggest trout I ever caught. No, that's not my trout picture. That's me in front of a wall. And when I learned in the middle of the South Bronx that I could grow plants and vegetables on walls, I thought, pretty cool. I can get with that. The kids will like that because at the end of the day, what am I about? Well, I'm really here today hoping that my reach will exceed my grasp. And if I can do this, Houston, you can do this. And it all starts with kids. And it all starts with seeds in classrooms. In the back of my classroom, something is always growing. And you know why? There are no floaters in the tank, there's no poop to scoop, and there's nothing that eats their young. And that's kind of a good model for me to have in a classroom with little kids to teach them things. And really, plants keep growing unless you really kill them. Now, the kids come and they take really, really good care of them, which is remarkable. And about my kids, 100% of my kids are either homeless, foster care, special needs, English language learner, or adjudicated youth. So, some people say lemons. I think wonderful lemonade, and let's get squeezing. So much so that we pulled up 6 acres of blacktop to build farms in New York City. A rather Herculean task. Kind of cool, but thank you, but no, because I want them indoors. I want them in school, not out of school. I love the farm, but what do you do 9 months? It's 6 degrees back home. I'm here in a short sleeve shirt today. I wanted that indoors. So lo and behold, my kids and I gave birth to the first edible wall in New York City, and we started growing food indoors, year-round, in school, in class. No weeding, no birds, no poop, no nothing. Come to school and see your plant grow and eat it. Kind of cool. And the kids really took to it. And we started pairing it with really hands-on, experiential learning, real things that connected kids to community and common core content standards. And the kids got into it. Funny thing, they liked it. So much so, we became certified and we started designing green roofs and green walls and installing them all across America. We're licensed, bonded, and certified, and we grow the plants and sell them to you from seeds. Seeds are key, people. And literally, in institutional buildings like this, my kids started putting these things up everywhere. And then we went a step further. We started looking at retrofitting, jobs that can't be outsourced, LED lighting, the kinds of jobs that can't go to China because they're not coming to your house to do this. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my harvest. And this is my tool of mass instruction, this little thing right here for college-bound kids. I've got bigger ones. But that's not only a ticket to good health. That is a license to print money, and I talk about growing your way into a new economy. We're determined to do that. But what do you do with this food? Well, these are my heirloom kids making heirloom sauce in class, following directions. Of course, it's a standing school, so we do it all in plastic. But remarkably, and where does the food go? Straight down into the cafeteria, or otherwise kids are getting served things from like who knows where, from who knows when, who knows how. And I always say the greening of America for me starts with greening of the playing field, cabbage in the pockets. You know, the greening of the pockets is about economic opportunity. Because if you green pockets, you can then green hearts and green minds. And this is the youngest nationally certified workforce in America several years ago on the roof of the Bronx County Courthouse. And again, you saw our schoolyard, but once we learned how to design stuff like that, we got out and nice people like you, private homeowners, the other 99% above us, who kind of fell in love with us. And that's a win-win-win paradigm. So the following summer, we moved out to the Hamptons. And we actually started designing and installing landscape for living wage and taking kids who had never seen things like this in communities like this and designing landscape that looked like that. We got so good at it, guess what? The following summer we moved in. That's right, it's my modern day version of the Jefferson. From the South Bronx to Southampton. We went, we paid $2,500 a week rent, and we paid bills. And we started designing and installing green roofs, and people loved us. We had more business than we knew what to do with, and we were actually growing these things in school with kids. And these are my kids, and this is what they're doing. We grew this from seed. And I'll tell you what, while in the Hamptons, their pants stay up. Trust me. It's a remarkable thing. So what can you say about this technology? Well, in addition to feeding people and generating jobs, it's really mitigating the environment and some of the biggest urban concerns that we have going forward in ways I myself never imagined. But this guy right here, Jim, he figured it out. Because he called me up and he said, "Hey, Steve, I see you got all those farmers. They come to work every day." I'm like, "Every day? You got to come to school to farm in my class." I got jobs for them. And we started taking this other natural resource we have in the South Bronx, abandoned buildings. And we started rebuilding them. And that was kind of cool. So places that were crack houses and places for all kinds of, I'll at least say no more because my mind is going too fast. We started rebuilding them, and these represent living wage jobs. This young man, the first in 3 generations in his family to have a bank account. This young man from Africa, my most in-demanding child. And you can't wait to take it home, mister. I told you, you know what they're going to do with this technology in Africa and going to change the world. And along the way, he's making $28 an hour, teaching people how to eat and grow and install food. So when you can design exteriors that look like this with interiors that look like this in public schools, guess what? CNN took notice. We invited them to come on down to my classroom because we like to say, it's unbelievable. And believe it or not, my kids even get paid to take care of that building outside too. They get paid $14 an hour to start in buildings like that. But what really happened is that this thing caught on. And it caught on because green is the new black. And when kids from the South Bronx and the poorest congressional district in America can design, build, and install a 15 by 30 foot green wall in the heart of Rockefeller Center in the NBC store, this represents jobs then, now, today, and into the future. And it's ecotourism. Thousands of people show up to see this wall that my kids who were so far apart from, are now part of to see it. I like to say it's scholastic indeed, and I spoke there too, pushing a wall that we turned into a whole bunch of cilantro and salsa and all kinds of good stuff. But when the Bronx Borough President comes to meet my kids and the state senator comes to my class, it's proof that the Bronx can change attitudes now, and my commitment is to help change America now, because all of us collectively and collaboratively, we can do this. The power of this room to change the way things could and should be is phenomenal. And then I had this epiphany, and we talked about this last night. Real community building, because sadly, so many of my kids are being raised by grandma. And in my community, it's not a matter of if, it's just when you get involved with the police. But all of us know Granny swings the mean cane in the South Bronx. So if we got grandma to school, it was a whole new level of accountability. I mean, it was like an opportunity to wrap around service, and if you misbehaved, Granny came right up to the class, and we started feeding seniors in school and growing food that we were giving away. And I realized I was doing something much more. I wasn't just growing food, we were growing a whole new level of justice. And then my kids, and all of these come from this plant-based rash I call handcuffs by Rikers Island, decided they were going to distribute something new. 100 gardens across New York City into some of the highest need schools for kids with wheelchairs. And to me, to go from a 911 moment to a 311 moment is what this public educator dreams about every single day of the week. And yes, Lorna Sachs called me the Pied Piper of Peas, but I believe that guess what? When you expand their palates, you really expand their vocabularies. And to me, that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, my kids gotta pass the test. But when I realized that my kids, we started growing food and donating gifts to orphanages, we started supporting Haiti and the Philippines and Japan, and the poorest congressional district in America could come together to support other kids, and realize about 50% of these kids are homeless, we were onto something. So lo and behold, we are. And we gave birth to the Green Bronx Machine. And what is it really? Well, we talk about STEM, but I like to talk about STEAM. Why? Because it's the way you should have your vegetables. No! Because A stands for art, A stands for aspiration, and A stands for advocacy, something that these kids need in their lives. Well, what does it really look like? Well, the kids design the shirt, they design the logo, they're happy to sell it to you, and trust me, they'll be texting me after to ask. But it also looks at redefining our neighborhood. So we started looking at where we were and where we live. And quite frankly, this is where we live. My school is 1 block in from this. And I will tell you, this is a tough place to live. It's hot as hell in summer, cold in the winter, and when it snows or rains, all that water goes down that hill into that big pile of garbage which surrounds all of New York City. Not healthy for anybody. And it's a really ugly place to be. No businesses, no nothing. So the kids and I, we got a little artistic. Well, they did. I just took the credit. And we started drawing and we started dreaming and talking about what if. What if we had a safe place to play? What if we had a safe place to walk? What if we had a safe place to put grandma in the middle to really keep our eyes on us so we didn't have to be like wondering who was going to be watching us? And you know what we did? We advocated. We wrote some grants and we broke some ground. And ladies and gentlemen, there we are 2 years later. Marching up on Fort Avenue. This is the new South Bronx. This is my kids, and now you see where there were no businesses, there's business after business after business. And for this teacher, this is ABCD, asset-based community development. Kids coming together to do things that they've never done before. And whether you live in this community or don't, or you're an absentee landlord, believe you me, all of us benefit when we have roofs like this to reduce heating and cooling costs. Everybody does. And that's the triple bottom line. Oh, we're gonna lose sound again.
Hi, I'm Steve Ritz, and I'm a science teacher from the South Bronx. And where I teach, kids have no access to locally grown, fresh, and affordable vegetables. My kids didn't even know where vegetables came from. So I started teaching my students how to grow their own food, and they loved it. Before long, we started the Green Bronx Machine, and lo and behold, in the South Bronx, we started a food revolution. Gardeners like these are spreading
and that used to be cement
and feeding our own community at the same time. Here we are, 30,000 pounds of vegetables later. We've got veggies popping up in every corner of the city. We found out we can grow food almost anywhere. Under bridges, on walls, in classrooms. And look, right here, 4 stories up, we're growing without soil. It's called hydroponics, and not only is it really cool, it's great for the environment. Our kids have learned how to build edible walls. What could be more cool than a wall full of food? Our motto is Si se puede. That means yes we can. And you can too. Si se puede!
Si se puede! Makes me want to go out and plant something right now. Those guys are so fired up, yeah. So next time you bite into a carrot, remember how much fun it can be to garden in new ways. It's bound to put a smile on your face when you pass the plate.
So pass the plate, pass the plate. Hell, my kids are passing tests. They're going on to college. They're doing things they never imagined. And in this age of no child left behind, I am a firm believer that no child should be left inside. And these are my future farmers of America. And when they start young and get healthy like this, it's so much easier. And in a neighborhood that was once called Fort Apache, the only teepees that you're seeing, the only burnt out things that you're seeing are campfires and teepees that we're building in the new South Bronx. And without a food stamp or a fingerprint, politics to decide, we are feeding ourselves in ways we've never imagined. And somewhere over the rainbow, my friends, click my heels, I'm home. This is the new South Bronx, and I'm proud to be a resident. Now, what does it really look like as an educator, as a community activist? No more little Knicks, no more little Nets, no more little Yankees. I'm sorry, I'm an ex-athlete, but I want little broccolis, little mushrooms. I want kids advocating around things that they can eat that will help drive this healthy decision making. I want kids from as young an age as possible knowing where their food comes from, how it comes, and making scientific predictions about it. And to me, when a kid like Jose can show me attention to detail on cucumbers like this, the English teacher in me is giddy and delirious. And when Omar and Henry know that carrots come from under the ground instead of through a plastic bag with a woman throwing them at them, that's the kind of moral victory I love. And bringing kids to school, it's all about colors and shapes and sizes and textures and words. And at that young age, guess what? They will eat anything. High schoolers, they want sneakers, sex, and cell phones, but little guys, they love it. It was so cool. So what did I do? I started making big guys accountable to little guys. I got me out of a million, but big Jose accountable to little Jose. And then that's the game plan. I have my big kids teaching little kids how to shop, and little kids showing big kids that they can spend money on things that they grow in school. Really changing the dynamic of a community. And these are my kids. These are my classroom. This is what my kids are going home with. We're doing green arts and crafts. Ho, 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 the Santa's coming on the sleigh. But this is a classroom in the middle of the South Bronx. This isn't Kansas. This isn't, a rich suburban school. This is my classroom. That's my teachers. Happy kids. Kids going home every 30 days with groceries. On top of the Ford train, we are growing pumpkin patches on top of the Ford train to create awareness. And guess what? We're eating them. It's called kalabasa, vowel consonant blends, for those of you who teach the younger grade. But we're eating pumpkins that we grow in school. For the rich and affluent, if any of you are, I'm delighted to sell you a koi palm and have my kids install it. But what else are we doing? These are my children of the corn, creating food awareness in some of the densest, toughest areas in New York City. And we're looking at reconfiguring garbage and waste that can help people grow food all over the world to change outcomes, the way life should be, the way it could be, so that people really understand it. Now, I don't expect kids to be farmers. I really don't. I don't expect every kid to be a farmer, but I do expect them to read about it, write about it, blog about it, offer outstanding customer service, and man, oh man, do they. And I will tell you this. It's really cool to see kids pollinating plants instead of each other. And I'll leave it at that as I move on quickly. So these are my kids. That's my classroom. Where does the food go? 0 miles to plate, right down to the cafeteria, where everything else came from many light years ago. So we are infusing my school with food in ways you can't even imagine. The rest goes to local soup kitchens or shelters where sadly many of my kids get the rest of their meal. Coolest thing about my farm is no Air Jordans or no school uniform was ever ruined on my farm. And yes, the basketball court can coexist right side by side with the tomato farm. Black field, brown field, toxic waste field, we have proven that you can grow food effectively, profitably, and efficaciously. All flower sales put the big sale in stream in ways that make dollars and so much more sense. But again, when you can bring kids as diverse as this, from disparate backgrounds together for something as inclusive as this, it's what I call a true si se puede moment. So, about the kids and academic performance. For targeted kids, from 40% attendance to 93% attendance. From 40 to 93. We all benefit from my kids doing school. That's true. 100% of my kids graduate, have living wage, and those who go to college go on academic scholarship. There aren't too many urban farmers, and a lot of land-grant colleges love my kids because of the magic zip code. So understand this problem. But what do we have? We have happy kids, happy families, happy communities. Behold the glory and bounty, roses on cement, that is Bronx County. I grow 7 kinds of mint in my class. I call it my intellectual Viagra. And the kids, I give it to the kids, they miss you. You can make candy out of this. I'm like, you think? Put it in your mouth, your breast stinks. Time to get smart. Let's go. But look at the pride that these kids come to do this kind of stuff because they've never had this experience before. The food goes right into the cafeteria, right into the community, or straight home. We put it in a pot. Now, we talked about community development yesterday. I'm sure you guys were being very strategic this morning, but there's this myth that marginalized communities don't want access to health food. Bring the produce, get the people, bring the produce. It's kind of simple, and I'm here to tell you, we sell out every day. And we're doing it at market cost, so we are growing ourselves into a whole new economy. More importantly, we're looking at real 21st century skills. The borough that, we are looking at ways of growing food that we never imagined. I like to say the borough that gave birth to baggy pants and funky fresh beans is now home to organically grown red ones. And we constantly experiment with all kinds of technology that most of it I don't even understand, but that's okay. But 30,000 pounds of vegetables later, my favorite crop, There's organically grown citizens, graduates, voters, kids who are going on to college, kids who are not going to prison, thank God. So please, help us go from communities that look like that to freestanding economic entities that look like this, that generate jobs and food and health and wellness and all collateral benefits that we're all here associated with to do. So I'm a literacy teacher and I'm going to leave you with a good quote. But I say no matter where we live and what city we come from, all of us are dedicated to making health a quality of reality. I don't see walls, I see places to build, and that's the way I do it. I mean, for me, I believe that when you give kids, and again, Jay spoke about this last night, ownership of their community, they take ownership of it. They understand how life could be, should be, and must be, and they want it. And the model is simple. It really is. It's eat, play, learn, cultivate, propagate, replicate. I was amazed when I started collecting what kids were doing. This is one class on a day, one period. That's food stamp money. That's wasted money. Some told that's a whole class. That's a week. What a waste. But it can all be changed by something as simple as this. And that's going to reconfigure costs and benefits for all of us, not only them. We are reconfiguring the way we do business in my school in ways that have demonstrable ROI for all of us. And it's time that everyone gets on board, please. To think that 40% of the food grown in this country winds up in the garbage, to me, is reprehensible. And if I ever see more textbooks thrown away like this, I'm going to die. Probably spontaneously and combust in the process. As long as someone cleans it up and puts me in a compost pile. That's it. You know, a couple of years ago, I ran out of money for my arts program. I was like, oh my God, reading or arts? The kids love art. So I started the toilet paper project, and I challenged kids to just use 1 square a day less. Could you just come to school with 1 square a day? You know, the kids, they come blow their nose. Well, first I have kids like, Mr. Ritz, I'm never wiping again. You come, like, okay, leave it there. Those are the kids I really like. But we all have a hand in it. Lo and behold, we have the coolest arts and craft project ever for free. So I have a lot of energy. I'm here to share it. I want you to use it. And please, I'm a resource for you to use. I'm not here for a one-time thing. I want people to use me. I'm hoping that this message spreads across America because each and every one of you can do this. I came to this game with just a simple desire to change lives. And I want to show you how simple it really is. Here's 5 days in the life of a seed. Here's 5 days in the life of my green Bronx machine. That's 5 days worth of growth, 25 days later. That's a whole lot of lettuce or a whole lot of cabbage, and we're giving it away. No wonder we're Bronx proud. We're farming, and you know it. But another great natural resource in the Bronx, abandoned buildings. I'm sure you've got a couple of them here somewhere in Houston. I chose this one because it had a naturally occurring green roof. I'm partial, okay, I like. But with no infrastructure and no building modifications, we're turning these into food factories. Employing veterans, employing guys in wheelchairs. These are things on wheels. They slide in, they slide out. You don't need to have a suit or a resume to work here, but you can grow a lot of food quickly and efficaciously. And man, oh man, do we every day, every week, every month. Like Michael says, just do it. So, we do. And I'm here to share my passion with you. Today I'm going to ask that you please share your passion with my kids. They're texting me endlessly. Please like the Green Bronx Machine on Facebook. Send the kids a message. Follow us on Twitter. They get a big kick out of it. I have a TED Talk. I'd love for you to see it and send it to everyone because if I can do it, you can do it, we can do it. We are Americans. I tell my kids we are Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, African Americans. Mom didn't raise cans, we raised cans. So let's get out there and do it. But policy people, today this ends. This cannot be in public schools. And if there's one simple, actionable step I'm going to ask you, get this out of schools today. It's wrong. This is the biggest bully in public schools. Not the girl with the beard, not the principal who's tyrannical, not the lunatic science teacher, not the girl who's beating up everybody. This is the biggest bully in public schools, and it's killing our kids on a daily basis. It has got to go, and we've got to stop it. Teach kids to stay out of places like this. The power of their spending is insane, and they know it. And when they learn to dictate how the community treats them, they will get a better sense of respect. So stay out of places that look like this. Model a healthy plate. Teach kids. Educate them. Let them know about healthy food. Yeah, I like that. Educate them. That's right. Teach them about the entrepreneurial skills of selling food and making money locally. Teach them about cooking. When was the last time kids in shelters sat down and had a meal? You know, when was the last time you sat down and asked kids, do you know how to use silverware? So much of the things that we eat are just from hand to mouth or package to mouth. Teach kids about that. What does it really boil down to? Loving them. Love the kids, please. They need a whole lot of love, don't we all? The crisis in public education is huge. It's overwhelming. The big schools are being abandoned and turned into homeless shelters or desolate places like this is overwhelming to me. I see these places all the time and I say, hey, a little bit of time and energy, look what I can do. And if I can do it, you can do it. And guess what? This makes money. This generates jobs. It is time. America, we can do this. And that's kind of why I'm inspired. Because I do believe that the eyes of the future, they want us to get it right. We have to get it right. Oh my God, you're kidding. Oh, only 1 minute? It's never gonna happen. I'm sorry, it's just never gonna happen. So whether you believe in the audacity of hope or you hope for some audacity, we as a country must go from a nation of red states and blue states to a nation of green states, living ecologically and environmentally in line. 50 years later, here we are, and the greatest prognosticator for student success in the world is zip code and skin color. It's wrong. Stranded out, it's education and the environment, but that's why we're here today, because policy matters. And that's why I'm thrilled to be a part of the U.S. Green Building Council, because every child deserves a healthy, safe, nurturing environment. Because it is easier to raise healthy children than fix broken men. Unless, of course, you're in the prison industry. Now, here are some real statistics. Understand this. Let's talk market share. Every day, 25% of all Americans are in school. 50% of all households are represented either as a student or as an employee. 72% of all Americans are committed to seeing comprehensive educational change. And 82% of all Americans are more likely to do business with a company that supports public education. For all you private sector guys, wake up! It's market share. Unless there's anyone here from prisons? Good. Okay, I can't. Okay, so.
That marginalized communities want you.
I'll do it in 4, I promise.
Kids are getting fatter. They're getting sicker. I have 200-pound 6th graders. And to me, that's appalling. I can't accept that. It's just not right. Listen, when kids lose weight and they go home and they're bringing food home to their families, and grandparents are getting involved, and parents are getting involved, and people are talking about what's going in their bodies. Plant by plant, classroom by classroom, we're changing outcomes, and we're changing destinies.
And we're making money.
I have kids who are teachers now. I have kids who are aspiring to things and jobs and places that they've never imagined. That to me is exciting. Put a seed in the ground. Put a seed in the ground. It's that simple.
Yes, put a seed in the ground, and I'm telling you why, because in the South Bronx we are telling a brand new story.
South Bronx, the poorest congressional district in America. So to be able to be part of the revitalization of this community is everything I've ever aspired to do. Who knew we could get kids to come to school for the privilege of farming?
100% of the students who come to us are either dropouts already or they're on the way to dropping out.
Our kids show up because it's fun. The way he does it, he's stern. If you want to have fun, if you want to be part of this program, you also have to produce in other subjects.
The real-life applications of this program transcend all levels of academics. There's reading, writing, math, science.
And the light at the end of the tunnel is a job.
We're growing food. They're working in kitchens. They're working in supermarkets. They're buying, rating, and rating produce. They're aspiring to be chefs in restaurants, creating food and dishes they never imagined.
I started going to school more, things started getting more interesting because of this program, and now I am building green walls and green roofs all over the globe.
$44 an hour he's making, prevailing wage.
To Bronx kids, to train them in the technology that Steve has trained our kids.
I'm not willing to accept the things I can't change. I'm going to change the things I can't accept.
And so are you.
Through Steve Ritz to tell the new Bronx story. We're no longer the borough that just made it. We're the borough that's leading the way.
And I am the luckiest man on the planet.
Progressive people are everywhere. Stephen Ritz is one of them. Learn more at apronprojects.com.
So I'm getting ready to close. I'm going to jump ahead and close out real strong. Get ready. Hold on, everybody. Hopefully it'll all work. Oh. So there are some people who see this, and there are some people who see that. But I want to flip the paradigm and ask all of you to see it this way, because opportunity is now here and you represent it. That's why we're here. So I'm here to share with you a pretty big idea today, you see, because I don't need another 12-point management plan to tell me how to run a school. I don't need another triple bottom line study. What I need is committed partners. People who want to show kids that the sky is the limit. People who realize that our kids represent their future market share, their future employees, their future children. A new model called Win, Win, and Win, where together we all can prosper, and Jay articulated it so well last night. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is the glass half empty or half full? It is 100% full. This little guy, it's not easy being green. He has put a lens on sustainability where we can all get to our own personal Sesame Street, where everybody knows their neighbors, even Oscar the Grouch. So even though we're all little tadpoles, I want you to all become a big frog and take that big green giant leap. Commit to something today. Commit to how life could be. Commit to how it should be. Embrace your outer green roof. I do it every day. Embrace your inner greenhouse. I'm growing corn in the middle of Harlem, years round, 25 stories up, feeding people. A greenhouse. Build a wall. Do something. Here we are, 4 stories up with the U.S. State Department coming to see how kids in the South Bronx grow food. It is remarkable. But it's here, it's all about planting a seed. Work with little kids. Adopt someone. Let their hands get dirty. Put something in the ground. Every kid in America deserves to know where their food comes from and to feel the experience of growing it themselves. Every kid deserves this, and every kid deserves fresh air and clean water. I'm trying to spread this across the country. A few months ago, I showed how you can eat your way to good health right off a wall in the middle of Times Square. And now I'm doing tower gardening, something they didn't even know of. And look what we're doing. We're growing a new economy in ways that we never imagined. These are South Bronx kids. These could be Houston kids. These could be your kids. These are our kids. So, everybody, please get to your own personal side of paradise. Commit to something today, how life could be, should be. We're here to design, build, and transform. That is really what innovation is all about, because together we can all prosper. Win, win, and win. 18 months ago, I was over 300 pounds and on 80 milligrams of Lipitor a day. I have gone from impossible to I'm possible simply by eating what I grow in food and to grow with kids in school. Hopefully my insurance company will send me a check, but if not, I'll get therapy. But let's talk about the greatest resource in the world, our children, because that's really what this boils down to. Our kids are our greatest resource in the world. And as we bask in the glory of 2013 graduations, and some of us are getting excited about 2014, I want to focus on the class of 2025. Look at these kids. These could be anybody's kids. These are my kids. These are your kids. And guess what? Superman isn't coming. I, me, you, us, we are the ones we're waiting for. We are the ones they're waiting for. And we need you to help us grow the biggest pumpkin ever. So when I say people, you say power. People. Power. People. Power. Because that's what it's about, and that's why today I am asking you to make that commitment, please. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, embrace this mindset of endless resourcefulness. I am that weed that wants to succeed. God help me, I am that piece of crabgrass in your lawn that will never go away. And that's okay, because I believe there is some art to all of this. Every day I'm challenged, and I dare you all to make a commitment today. I promise I'm shutting up. But no matter what you do, no matter where you go, please take time to smell the flowers. Look how fat I was. Especially if you and your kids grew them in school en route to graduation. That's totally cool. So I got passion for my plants, and I'm not afraid to show it. I'm Steve Ritz from Green Bronx Machine. I'm farming, and you know it. Si se puede. Guys, let's do this.